Studio Series 86 Snarl was one of my favorite Transformers mainline releases of last year. It had a rightfully resplendent robot mode complemented by a charmingly chunky dinosaur mode. After that enlightening experience, you know I was looking forward to the then upcoming SWOOP. Now he's here and, yeah, he's SWOOP alright. Greetings people of YouTube, I'm Screaming Star, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot SWOOP. Snarl really was a high bar for me, so it would be very impressive if SWOOP here can top him.
No, not in that way.
Before we take a look at the figure itself, let me introduce you to the character first. SWOOP here, just like Snarl, was a part of the second batch of Dinobots that was made by the Autobot Wheeljack. He's actually one of the smartest Dinobots from G1, having saved his team from the clutches of Shockwave in that one episode. His ult mode is that of a Pteranodon, and I love him to pieces. Do I love this figure to pieces though? Well, you see... kind of. He's objectively great, don't get me wrong, but he does give me Cybertron Starscream vibes. If you saw my review for that figure, you probably know what I meant by that. In order to avoid spoiling too much of my thoughts, let's get straight into his accessories first. Firstly, he comes with a sword. Secondly, he comes with a sword. Am I really that old? Nah, I'm just messing with you. One of the swords is supposed to be his, while the other is meant for 86 Grimlock. The absolutely amazing 86 Grimlock that I cannot wait to get the package refresh of. But while I wait for that, SWOOP will have to dual wield the swords, which is admittedly a very cool look. No, I don't think I want to give this to Grimlock anymore. He also comes with these wing missiles that can be attached to the front of his... well, and if you're so inclined, you can make him hold these to serve as some long-range arsenals. Such an awesome look. The tip of these missiles can be detached and replaced with some blast effects. Hoochie mama, this is epic. That's what I think of his accessories overall. They're just so epic and give him a ton of play value. Now, if we're talking about the figure itself, I think he looks great. He continues the trend of the SS86 Dinobots having a whole load of mechanical details throughout their body, though to a lesser extent here. I'm noticing that there are a lot more blank spaces on SWOOP than on Snarl. Not a big deal at all, the sculpt work here still looks great, managing to maintain accuracy to the source material while giving it just enough visual upgrades that make him look a lot more interesting than the Sunbow design. The blue torso here makes a statement, with some nice red accents here and this huge golden Terra beak to complement it. Branching off from said torso, the arms look a little boring with no paint on them whatsoever, but the legs, oh yeah, they look nice. The gold paint at the front of the thighs flowing downward and offshooting into the gold feet kneecap is an aesthetic quirk that I very much adore. His lower legs do have some nice red accents on the sides that don't continue onto the ankles, so yay. At least the shins are painted black, that's pretty cool. Not as cool as the head sculpt. This is a great recreation of the G1 design. A bit goofy with the Pteranodon crest obviously sprouting from the back of his noggin, but still cool nonetheless. My favorite part about this robot mode though would have to be these wings. Not only do they have some lovely mechanical greebles, but they're also completely covered in this lush silver finish, and y'all know how much I love silver. Oh, and while we're here, the back is devoid of kibble. Lovely. So you can see that aesthetically this figure excels greatly, but Cybertron Starscream. Yeah, unfortunately my copy got fucked in the QC department, and as a result, he's got some concerning loose joints. Remember the delightful hip and knee ratchets from Snarl? Throw those out of the window for this figure, cause golly, these are looser than that one time I used Kingdom Blaster as a nunchuck. Actually, no, nothing is worse than Kingdom Blaster. Heck, I wouldn't even say that these are as bad as that Cybertron Starscream that I kept on mentioning. Still though, this is not up to par. And what's even worse is that his ankles do this. Pan-freaking-tastic. Oh, SWOOP, you could have been so much better. Again, this may just be my copy, as I've seen pretty much zero complaints about SWOOP's solidity, but it's still a bummer for me in particular, obviously. If you really want to see these loose joints in action, you'll see it when I talk about his articulation, which is pretty much right now. Articulation on this guy is actually pretty good, but the build quality is the usual head ball joint that can look all the way around, hinge joint that makes his head look down, 360 at the arms if you move the wings out of the way, butterfly joint that goes backwards due to the transformation, another butterfly joint here but that looks ugly, bicep swivel, elbow bend, wrist swivels that are somehow too tight, and they can move inward. The wings are on hinge joints, the missiles can rotate, waist swivel that is a bit loose as well, and if you want even more of a swivel, you can just move the beak up, and there you go. This now. The legs are on soft ratchets going forwards and backwards, but oh boy, they are so loose. None of this over here on SWOOP. Nope, just some pathetically loose soft ratchet joints. You can barely hear them. Anyways, he can do the splits still, and the outward movements are actually really tight, so that's nice. Thigh swivel, also kind of tight. Double joints at the knees, little toe movement, extremely loose ankles moving down, and we get a nice ankle pivot. Why the hell not, eh? So build quality is pretty bad, but hey, the articulation is still solid enough. At least solid enough for me to want to put him into some poses. You know what? Despite his looseness, he's still pretty dang fun to pose. Helps that he's big, giving him a sense of presence in any pose I put him in. Speaking of which, let's do some size comparisons. Here is SWOOP next to an Insecticon, the Transformers Legacy Evolution Bombshell. Here he is next to the Transformers Earthspark Grimlock, Blocky's Grimlock. Comparing him to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight. And finally, here he is next to the Studio Series 86 Snarl. My word, they look amazing together. Sure, due to a couple of reasons, I do think Snarl is better, but I'm still incredibly grateful to have both of them. Honestly, even with his build quality issues, I still quite like the robot mode. He just looks so cool and poses very well, even if handling him isn't exactly a pleasure. Now, I'm extremely glad to say that his transformation isn't really remarkable. It's just a casual SWOOP transformation. But the resulting dinosaur mode, well, let's get through the transformation first, shall we? In order to push the hands out, I recommend getting one of the swords here, and then you push it around here, and bam, the hand will pop out. This is one chunky pterosaur. Also, yes, I know he's not technically a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur nerd, but guess what? I don't care. He's a robot anyway, so who gives a flying fuck? To be honest, I used to be kind of opposed to this mode on this particular figure. I thought this would be another case of being accurate to a fault, especially after having checked out what New Age did with their version of SWOOP, giving him real legs and much better proportions. Also, big thanks to Convertibot Reviews for letting me use his footage. Go subscribe to him, he's awesome. The 86 figure is actually much better than I anticipated. Yeah, this guy is pretty much a brick with a pair of wings, but he looks a lot cooler than any piece of brick has any right to do. The wings here do a lot of the heavy lifting. They're very well sculpted and are still covered in that lush silver paint that I so adore. Also, they're much wider in this mode. Awesome. Head sculpt is also pretty good, but I'm not a big fan of the overbite. Due to the transformation, I kind of get it though. While he works best in the air, you can still stand him up on the ground by propping him up with these tiny tootsies, and that actually looks pretty neat. He doesn't have much articulation, only having some hinge joints at the neck, jaw articulation, double hinges at the wings, and some toe movement, but the size kinda makes up for that, especially with these gargantuan gliders. Of course, naturally, that leads us to the size comparisons. Here he is next to another flying reptile, one of the Jurassic World Amber Collection Dimorphodons, Bombshell, Grimlock, smaller Grimlock, Mr. Knight, and finally, the Chonky Snart. Yep, I love how they look together. And there goes my review for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot SWOOP. Despite my issues with the robot solidity, I still like him a bunch. Yeah, he's a bit loose, but not as egregious nor as distracting as my copy of Cybertron Starscream. I still had a lot of fun bossing him around with his awesome accessories and articulation. I definitely recommend this figure, even more so if you already have an 86 Dinobot collection. I still stand by the fact that these are the best of what modern Leader Class has to offer, even though I gotta say I still enjoy Snarl a lot more. Those ratchets really do it for me, man. But hey, I'm glad to have both of them, and I'm eagerly looking forward to getting the rest of them if I can. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. What do you think of it? If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Got something to say, leave a comment. And if you like my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Farewell, fellas. Hopefully I'll see you all next time. Miss Swoop found our leader, Grimlock. Why Grimlock so small?
Enough talking, you inaudacious imposter. I, Grimlock, shall smite